Hi Gorgies and Gents, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. Your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your uncle, your aunt, your niece, your nephew, your grandma, your grandpa. I hope everyone is doing well. If you don't know who I am, my name is Khanyi, Madikiza, and this is my channel. Welcome. If you are a visitor and you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe if you like and enjoy the content on this channel. I hope you guys stay. If you're a returning Sabi and OG Gorgie, thank you so much for your support. I truly appreciate you, and I do hope that you stay. So please don't forget to like this video if you enjoy it. Don't forget to comment down below just so we can get this video to more and more people, right? And thank you so much. We're so close to 10K. I'm so excited. The giveaway is coming together very well, sweetie. So I hope you guys are ready. Do invite your friends to come check out the channel. Do invite your friends to watch the video. So I did mention in my last vlog that I'm going to be doing a detailed updated makeup techniques or makeup video, basically how I do my makeup on the everyday. And this is basically the look that we created in this video. All the products that I've used in this video will be in the description box, so do check it out. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video. I hope you love it. Please do watch it. I know the makeup videos don't do so well, but I think that I want to get back into doing sit downs like this. So yeah, I would really appreciate if you guys would watch, like, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. But yeah, I hope you will enjoy the video. Without further babbling from me, let's get straight into it. So let's get started. So I've already done my skincare routine. I never really feel the need to put on a primer if I've done my skincare routine, and we'll start with applying the foundation. I currently am using the Huda Beauty Luminous Matte foundation. It's the Faux filter. I love this foundation. I love how it just like glides onto the skin. It is matte, but it also gives like a luminous finish. Like you don't feel like your skin is completely dry, because the foundation actually helps to, like, you know, bring out that faux filter vibe. Like it really actually feels like you've got a filter on. So I really enjoy this foundation because of that. And you can see how it applies. It is a full coverage foundation. I do prefer to use a small brush to apply it, because that way I realize that I'm actually not using a lot more of the foundation than what is needed. It helps me to apply the foundation just enough. And you actually don't need to use a lot. Literally a little goes a long way. So I love this foundation for that. Yeah, it's stunning. I love it. My shade is what is my shade? It's gingerbread. So it's 430N, and yeah, I've literally just stuck to it. So I use a fluffy brush, as you can see, to put on my foundation. I feel like it spreads it nicely without using a lot or absorbing a lot of the product. As you can see, guys, flawless finish. It does not look like my skin is dry. I still have like a glow to my skin, but it covers so well. You don't even need to build up, like, honestly, because it actually gives such full coverage that you don't need to do all of that. Now, as you can see, beautifully blended. Can bring it down to your neck as well. That is a very important step. So after I've put on my foundation, I go ahead with the Huda Beauty Overachiever concealer. Love this concealer. It's high coverage, it's very creamy, blends in beautifully. I love it. And it covers all the sins betunan. I also use like a smaller brush to do the application there. Ooh, child, I'm wearing white pants. I apply it to the areas where I want to highlight, which is my under eye, as well as my T-zone. So forehead, just there. Bring it down a little bit on my nose and just above my mouth, so where my mustache would usually be, and then just there on my chin. Don't bring it too low on your chin, because then you elongate your face. So you just put it right there in the middle, or just like a little bit above your lower lip. This is very much a high coverage concealer, and it's very creamy. So once you start blending it in, you see that it actually moves the way that you want it to move, like you're able to place it properly, but also like it covers without actually dragging your face or dragging the product down. Love that. Then while my concealer is drying, I go in with my Yardley Stayfast pressed powder in the shade Mahogany. Love this pressed powder. My previous shade here as well was Cocoa, but once I started using Mahogany, I actually felt like I liked it much better because it's much warmer. It gives a bit of a red tone compared to Cocoa. However, this red tone kind of like, I don't know, it gives a warmer vibe to it, and I like it. So I apply it where my cheekbone would be, so in that way, but I brush upwards. So I'm trying to get it to meet my concealer, right? So right now I'm basically defining my face. This is the contouring process. I'm trying to make sure it shows nicely for you. Ooh, that is a good angle. It shows perfectly. So I put the product on like this, I pack it on, and then I brush upwards to make sure that it blends closer to my concealer instead of dragging it down, because I want it to stay where it is but also move up to actually contour my face. So I apply that like so. You see the difference there? It looks really good. And don't worry about fixing like small things, you will fix as you go. But right now I basically want to know where my contour should start, where my concealer should end. Do you see what I mean? And then I go in and I blend my wig into my face, as well as contour the rest of my face. If I keep looking down, guys, just know I'm looking at my mirror just to make sure that it's not looking good only on camera, but looking good in person as well. I'm also using a very fluffy brush for this step. I love me a fluffy brush. I feel like it spreads the product like nicely. I only really use straight or very like thin and dense brushes in instances when I actually want the product to stay exactly where I put it. But if I want to move it around and, you know, blend it in, then I use a very dense, thick brush. And then to blend out my concealer, I am using a fluffy brush as well. It's much smaller, but still just as dense. I'm just gonna grab my mirror and bring it closer. What we do here is go to the outline of where the concealer ends. I'm gonna start there because I wanna make sure that that is way smoother, right? In terms of blending into my concealer. So I'm patting, I'm doing everything in a patting motion. And I'm bringing that up, getting more closer to where the concealer starts, so towards my under eye, while I'm still patting for it to blend into my contour. Then I get closer to the eyes, still in a patting motion to make sure I'm not moving too much of the product. As you can see, you see that? Yeah. And then I get close to my under eye, and there I start like putting like a little, you know, I don't know what to call it, almost like a little line to help me when it comes to contouring my nose. So I'm trying to make sure my concealer gets close to there, but is also blended well enough for my contour on my nose to show the way that I want it to. And then I just continue blending the rest of my face. Again on this side, patting motion, just softening up those edges of where the concealer ended, close to where the contour is, and then moving into the under eye, bringing that a little bit closer. I love the way it looks when your concealer is kind of like very close to your your lash line, your lower lash line. Then again, bringing that in, I push the brush together like this to make it a little bit more dense, coming into the nose, make sure I'm defining where I would like my nose contour to start, and then blending that out. Don't worry about anything that's not looking perfect. this is still a process. We'll get there. When I'm blending my chin, I blend it upwards towards my lip, because like I said, if you bring it down, it just elongates your face, and I don't want to elongate my face. Then blending a little bit of the nose contour. I don't want it to be completely gone. I want it to show as a line still until I blend it out when I actually put on my nose contour. Blending out my forehead. And kind of like bringing it into the middle between my brows where it meets my nose contour. So the next step is, because you can see there's still quite a sharp line between my concealer and my contour, then I go in with my beauty blender. This beauty blender is super soft, very nice to find edges, and yeah, and also it has a curve right here. You can see curve right here to allow you to get into the very like hard to get areas. It's really awesome. I got it from Nouveau Ink Beauty Bar. So I take that, it's damp. I use hot water to dampen it up because I want to make sure that the heat kind of like helps the foundation to melt into my skin. So I go back in, pat everything out again. I take my brush, which has all the residue product, and I dab a little bit on of that onto my beauty blender. Then I'm going in with my beauty blender very softly. Like I said, it's also very it's a very soft blending sponge. And now I just want to make sure everything is smooth. I go in with the what is it, the sharp back, and I'm getting that into my concealer line and my contour so that those meet, but I'm trying to blur out that line where they meet. Perfect. I feel like that is a perfect blend. Look at that. I'm trying to reduce the light. So can you see? You can't see clearly. There's a blurred line between the concealer as well as the contour. And this beauty blender is perfect for achieving that kind of look. I have the contour, which is the darker powder, and the concealer line. So I want to make sure that blends in without me actually moving the product. Do you see the difference? I hope you see that, because it's good, honey. It's good. And I'm going back to that brush that I used for my contour, and I'm just going to make sure to blur the lines even more. We need everything well blended, and when it gets here, as much as I'm going like fluffy, roundish, you know, moving the product, but I'm brushing down because I want my contour to move down into my concealer. Next step is blush. I know I haven't set my under eye. This is my new way of doing my makeup, my new technique. So yeah. Next up, I'm going in with the Hermosa Floor Lilly palette. Guys, it's dirty because I use this palette a lot. So in the palette, as you can see, there's some shades that I haven't really used, but my favorite one is literally running out. So this is called Devotion. I go into Devotion and I'm going to use this as my blush. So right where that line of my concealer and my contour meets, I go in with some blush, but also bringing it up towards my under eye. I'm really enjoying that look these days, so doing that. Sorry. And then on the other side, blush it up. Yes, it's a lot. I love me some blush these days. I'm really enjoying blush, and this color is the perfect like pinkish, not too pink, almost like it kind of gives me a little bit of a purple. So I really actually enjoy it. The shade is called Devotion, like I said. And then also on the tip of my nose, it must look like you're just blushing. So now I'm about to set my face. I go back in with my concealer brush as well as the beauty blender, put in some more product or residue product onto my beauty blender, and then I want to make sure that all the lines or under eye lines that would be on my eye are now, like the creases basically, are blended in because I'm trying to put some powder. And when you put on your powder and your face is actually creased underneath the eyes, then the powder will accentuate those creases. So you need to make sure you go back in and you blend that. What helps is if you look up and then you lightly press with your brush or your beauty blender to make sure everything is still looking smooth. And then I'm gonna go in with my setting powder. I'm using the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. Yeah, love it, been using it for years now. It's one of the best in the market, also one of the most expensive in the market. So I don't like baking, right? So what I do is I dab on the actual product, and then I take the back of the lid, or I take the lid, and I just remove that extra product that's there, anything that I don't necessarily need. And then I go into my face. When applying it, I start close to the nose. So I do this, defining where my contour will start for my nose, right? And then I go in with the rest of the product underneath my eye in a patting motion, not putting on too much because I don't want to bake, but putting just enough for it to set nicely and look good. And then same thing, now I'm gonna go back into that product that I kind of removed, that was my residue, tap into it and do the other side of my face. Same technique, and then around all the places where I put concealer. Love that for us. Let me get closer and just show you what it looks like. And then once again, going in with that brush that I used to contour, making sure my contour is still visible, but also the powder did not create any harsh lines. I didn't put any additional product, just using whatever's on the brush. And then I'm gonna go back in with the brush that I used for my blush, and just making sure that blush is still there and well blended. Then we get into the nose contour. I'm gonna be using a small but thick and dense brush. I just want my camera to focus so you can see. So it's much smaller, but you can see it's quite thick and dense. This is the brush that I'm going to be using for my nose contour, and I'm going in still with my pressed powder. This time I'm not using a lot because you want to start slow and then build up the definition, right? So just patting a little bit. As you can see, not a lot of product that's on there, right? Then I go in to my nose. I always start here. So the line is kind of already defined because I brought my concealer up, if you remember, and I have the concealer in the middle of my nose. So I kind of know where to start and end. So I can see that part is clearly defined. So I go in there, pat into my concealer, my powder again, go onto the other side. Also, as you can see, the brush is actually curved a little bit to be able to fit areas like that. So I go into the other side of my nose. And basically the whole thing behind nose contour is that you're creating almost like a shadow on the side of your nose to make it appear smaller. So now you can see I've kind of gone up with the curve of the brush into my eyebrow. And then I make sure that stays up there, kind of blend it in. And that already gives me the definition of how my nose looks. So I do the same to the other side. And there is your nose contour. And now we can get into brows. I use the, what is this? LA Girl Brow Bestie in the color Deep Brown, GBP 377. This is basically an eyeliner. So we have the little bit of a liner that side, and then we have a brush on the side. It's very dirty, forgive me. And then I'm also using my Essence eyeliner, which is also in the shade dark brown. And I'm just brushing my brows up. As you can see, my brows have kind of like been defined by the whole makeup that I've done, so I actually don't have to do a lot, which is why my brows are never like super defined or anything like that. I really like a raggedy kind of brow, if I can say it that way. Then I go in with the pencil and I start defining from the top. So now I'm just filling in while almost like drawing a line where my brow ends at the top, and I'm just making sure to define that. Then I bring it down. So you see that? Then I just brush up to kind of fill in between my brows to make them look fuller. Then I use the spoolie to blend that all in. So I just draw a line underneath where my brow starts and ends. This is basically also kind of like defining and filling in that area. So then I fill in where I see some gaps. Then I go in with this tiny little brush over here. It is quite flat, so it goes in. As you can see, it also has that curved part at the top there, which helps to get into the curves of your brow. So then I'll take the brush and dab it onto a little bit of concealer and just clean up and define whatever I feel like I want to clean and define if I made any mistakes. Also, don't bring the concealer up to the front because then that just doesn't look nice. So the brush that I used for my nose contour is this one. I don't apply any extra product. I just go into the front of my brow and blend that line almost into where the contour was coming in, so that I don't have a harsh line, because your brow is supposed to start it gets lighter to darker. So you don't want it dark in the very start of your brow. It has to look as natural as possible, even though it's not natural. But well, mine are naturally full, so that's why I don't really do too much. There are a lot of YouTubers that actually have a lot of brow tutorials. So if you feel like you are someone who doesn't have thick brows and you actually need to, like, you know, have a defined brow, then definitely check those out. Now that I'm done with my brows, I feel like I have enough definition so that I can actually go in with my eyeshadow. So I'm going back into the Hermosa Floor Lilly palette, and I'm going to use the color Majesty together with Pure. So this is Majesty and this is Pure right here. So these two colors, Majesty and Pure, I'm just going to dab a little bit on that, dab a little bit on that, move some of the extra product, and then go into my eyelid, and I'm just going to apply that in a circular motion just to fill my eye. I just want it to look natural. I'm not much of an eyeshadow girl, so all the eyeshadow you ever see me have is literally like natural colors, very nude colors, browns, you know, yeah, every shade of brown. And I'm going to bring that into my actual nose contour here in the front here. So circular motion into the nose contour so that you don't have like harsh lines for everything. I don't know if you guys can see that eyeshadow. The whole point is for it not to be visible. I like it to look as natural as possible, but Hermosa Floor does have really nice pigment, so it does actually show up. It doesn't look completely not or non-existent, you know what I mean? Perfect. So that is my eyes all done. Then I'm going to go in with my eyeliner and define my lip line. And then I go in with my Constance Beauty lipsticks. I really love these. They launched this new style, these stub are they called stub lipsticks. Really enjoy it. This is the shade Bear. Honey, I love this. I love this lipstick. It's also literally almost finished, and like it looks a mess, so don't judge me, but like I said, I love it, so that's why it looks a mess. I'm always using it. Not dry, they're very creamy. Love the application. Stay on for quite a long time actually, but you don't feel like your lips are dry. Do you know what I mean? And that's very important to me because Bev always, you know. So creamy, kissable lips. Love it. And that is literally my lippy for the day. And we're almost done. I'm gonna go in with my Dermalogica hydrating spray. This helps to keep the skin hydrated. Yeah, so I really like it. It locks in the moisture, so I'm using this instead of setting spray for my face. And then I go in with my beauty blender, the other side. So this is, which side is the cleaner one? Yeah, this side, sorry. So I go in with that side and I just dab the product into my skin. Don't press too hard, literally like let the sponge do the dabbing. I want my face to stay hydrated because I do have dry skin, which is why I'm using the spray instead. And throughout the day, if I feel like my skin dries at any point, I can just go back in and spray it as well. If you still prefer using what is this, if you still prefer using setting sprays, definitely you can do that as well. They do have like non-matte setting sprays, so you can use that. However, I just really prefer using this spray. It works miracles. So next step, I'm using the Fenty Beauty Kilowatt highlighting palette. This has 2 shades. Let me show you. So this shade over here is called Afternoon Snack. This shade over here is Mahogany, and as you can see, Mahogany has been the girl that I go to more often than not. So I'm gonna go into some of that Mahogany. This is also an angled brush. I do like thick brushes, I've realized. And I'm gonna go in with the highlighter. Do you see how little I put in and how much it's just giving already? So I really like that about this product. So like, you can have a heavy hand because it'll still look good anyway, but I suggest you don't, because it's highly pigmented and it literally gives, with just a small little bit, it gives everything you need it to give. And also because my skin is slightly damp, the product is showing up way more. Look at that. Love it. I love it for us girlies. Literally, Rihanna came through for us. So putting highlighter underneath your brow gives it more definition. So I do that over there. You can see the difference. And now it helps for the highlighter to go from your brow into your actual face. You see? My nose, I prefer dabbing with my finger and then dip right there. Use another finger to blend that in so that it doesn't look like a dupe. And then again with that finger with the highlight, and then another finger, blend that in, and then in the middle I kind of just rub the residue or whatever's left over. You can see. Then I just remove the product from the brush a little bit and I kind of blend everything nicely together. And now we get into the final part of my look, putting on some eyelashes. I'm using the Fenty Beauty mascara. Really been loving this. It really actually gives a lot of volume and definition to your eyelashes. So if you're someone who has like short eyelashes and is looking for a little bit more definition or like volume or elongation, whichever it is, I think this mascara is great because it actually has a nice curve to it. So it gets into the crooks and nookies of your eyes. You can see that curve at the top, curve over here, and that sharp tip to get into the bottom lashes if you're someone who likes doing bottom lashes as well. take a look at this side and then take a look at this side. So much more volume, right? So I'm using my lashes from Beyond Beauty. Sorry, I'm removing this because it's not the original packaging. So these lashes are from Beyond Beauty. I've used them over 20 times already. They're very long lasting. This style is called Baby Girl. You can check out Beyond Beauty on Instagram if you'd like to purchase your lashes as well. My glue or adhesive that I like using for my lashes is this Kiss Beauty lash adhesive. You can get this at Clicks. You can tell it's been through a lot, Sana, because I love it. It stays in my bag everywhere I go. Feeling good, honey. Looking good too. Looking too good. And that is the final look, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this makeup video. It was very detailed. I hope you learned something, and if you're looking for any product, any of the products that I actually mentioned in this video, do check out the description box. Don't forget to like this video. Please do subscribe to my channel because we're very close to 10K, and also just comment down below with anything that you have been struggling with, or whichever part of this video that you actually enjoyed, and I'll be sure to be right there in the comments to chat it up with you and answer your questions. But yeah, I love you guys so much. Thank you for your support, and I will be seeing you in my next video.